Yitzchok Dov ben Nisan Eliezer, Yitzchok Dov Rottenstein Shiur. About 10 lines down in the Gemorah, Heicha Remiza. That's what we got up to last week. If you remember, we know that the Mishnah says that there are 5 days in which the Megillah could be read, right? And the Gemara is.
Wait, the Mishnah, the Gemara.
We're in the Gemara.
In
the Gemara, 10 lines down.
Okay.
In the Gemara, Heicha Remiza.
Okay.
So in the Gemara, we got up to where it said, the Gemara wanted to know where is the pasuk that says, from where do we know? Manola. Manola means what's the source of where we know that the Megillah is read on the 11th. On the 11th. Okay? Because we know 13 and 14 we know. Yeah. 14 and 15. 14 and 15 we know, right? 14 and 15 we know from the psukim in the Megillah. In the sheet that we gave out over here, right? It says, V'hayomim ha'ela nizkarim v'na'asim, right? B'chol dor v'dor, right? So these days, which are the 14th and the 15th. Okay. 14 and 15, right. So the Gemara wanted to know, where do we know this from? So the Gemara says, well, we're going to learn later on that it says later on that the Chachamim were makel on the Kfarim to be makdim to say, read the Megillah on the Yom HaKnisa in order that they should be able to supply mayim umazon for their brothers who were in the Krachim. Now, this is a discussion which the Gemara later on is going to get to a maskana that there's a question of whether it's Kedei Sheyisafku in order that they should supply or because they supply. What's the nafkamina between in order that they should supply or because they supply? In order that they should supply means that we're only allowing them to read the Megillah earlier so that when Purim comes, they can get to work and bring the food to all the people in all the cities. But if you say it's mipnei, because they do this, that's why, so that means we're giving them a bonus. And we're saying, oh, you guys work so hard, so therefore we're going to let you off the hook and read earlier. Okay, good. There is, before we go any further, we want to know that you have to have a source for the fact that you're reading the Megillah earlier. The Gemara tells us that since the Anshe Knesset Agdola, right, made it, and they said you have to in the pasuk it says 14 and 15. How did a later group of Rabbanan come along and make a takana? You can read it 11, 12, 13, right? Yeah. All right. So that was the Gemara, because the Gemara taught that one bezdin can't make a takana over another bezdin unless they're greater than them, right? In Chochmah and Minyan. Okay. So since the Gemara said that we know that you read it on 11, 12, 13, it can't be that a later Bezdin came along and made the takana. It's got to be that the takana was made from the get-go. Oh, if that's the case, now we start our Gemara today. If that's the case, that from the get-go, from the very beginning on, you were allowed to read it on the 11th, 12th, and 13th. And it's not a takana of a later Bezdin. Of course, a later Bezdin couldn't do it unless they were greater than them in Chochmah and Minyan. If that's the case, Heicha Remiza, where is this remez that they could do this in the Megillah? Okay. So now comes the Gemara and gives an answer. Omar Hashem bar Rabba, Omar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Shem bar Rabba comes along and he says, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, I'm going to tell you what the remez is in the pasuk. Omar Kro, because the pasuk says, Lekayim es yemei apuvim ha'ele bizmanehem. That's a pasuk in Esther Perek Tes. Okay, Lekayim es yemei apurim ha'ele bizmanehem. Right? Okay, let's translate. To establish, right? These days of the Purim Bismanehem, in their times. Okay. And that means Zmanim harbe tiknu lahem. Chazal made many times. We thought that there's only what? 2 times. I want you to know there's many, because it says Bismanehem. Ask the Gemara, wait a minute. Zmanehem means in their times. So how many is their times? Oh, so it's 2. So that's 14 and 15. So where do you get 11, 12, 13?
Minimum 2, 3 more. My name is 2.
Okay, but wait. So how do you know for sure that there's 3 more?
Oh, okay.
Right?
At least 2.
So the Gemara asks,
Yeah.
Hi, mi boy legufei. The words Manahem, I need legufei. Says Rashi to the right, 3 lines down. Legufei. Keep your hand on the Rashi.
Yeah,
Le-yud daled b'teisvav, I'm a furosh b'sefer. Oh. So I need Zmanehem to teach me 14 and 15, which I mentioned in the Megillah, and the Sefer here means the Megillah. Ask the Gemara, nah. For that I don't need the word Bizmanehem. Im kain lema kra zman, meaning as Yemei Apurim ha'ele bizman. What's Yemei? 2 days.
Right.
Purim ha'ele of this Purim bizman,
Right.
in the right time.
Right.
What's the right time?
14,
The 2 days.
Right.
Right. Maizmanehem. Oh, why do you have another plural? Why do you need zmaneh?
Zman is right. Zman be 2 days.
In its time. No, it's as Yemei Hapurim ha'ele. What? Translate.
Days
As Yemei Hapurim. Days.
In the time.
The days in its time.
Right.
So days is plural.
Right.
That's 2.
Right.
I don't need zmanehem for 2.
Right.
The zmanehem
Right.
has got to be more. Zmanim tuva.
Right.
It's many days, right? More than just 2.
Right.
Okay. So that would seem to solve the problem, right? Ask the Gemara, not so. Va'akati, this is a form of kasha that the Gemara asks, and still, right? The kasha is still, va'akati, and still, mi boile, I need zmanehem, their zmanim, to show us zmano shel zeh lo k'zmano shel zeh. Oh, I need their times to show that the zman of one is not like the zman of the other one. What does this mean? It said already 14 and 15. Rashi, very important. Leimokra, says Rashi, right to the right. Leimokra, es yemei apurim ha'ele bizman. The mashma bizman ha'mafurush lehem. Just say bizman. Why needs zmanehem? So he said to tell us, that there are many zmanim. Ask the Gemara, "V'akatimi boile haydenokat zmanim lashon rabim," to teach me zmano shel mukafim, that the time of the walled cities, lav kizmano shel prazim, is not the same as the time of the open cities. The ikos of bizman, if it would have only written l'kayem es yemei hapurim ha'ele biz. Man have mashma zman echad l'shneihem. I would have thought, okay, you have 2 different groups. You have a mukafim group and you have a krachim group, a walled city group. You have a mukafim group, an unwalled city, right, and a walled city. Ibo, and they could decide either way. Ibo ulikra bar bisar. If they want, they can read it on the 14th. The Ibo Likru, and the Rashi continues up on the left side. The Ibo Likru Bachar Misar. And if they want, they can read it on the 15th. How did I know that Zmano Shel Zeh Lo Kizmano Shel Zeh? Okay, and that's back to the Gemara. So he says, My Zmanim Tuva. V'akati mi boile Zmano Shel Zeh Lo Kizmano Shel Zeh. So now, if I wanted to teach, the grammar is crucial here. If I wanted to teach that, if I would have said bisman, right? I would have said they both have to do it in either 14 or 15, but they both could do it on the 14th, or they both could do it on the 15th. How do I know that's mano shel zeh lo kizmano shel zeh? All right. So I need that. Zmanehem. Ask the Gemara, Im Kain, Leimo Kroz Manam. You see the grammar? Listen to this. Grammar is crucial. Zmanam means their time. Once you say their
Right.
time, that means singular or plural.
Singular. Right? No.
Which one is singular? Their time.
Their time.
Which one is singular?
Yeah.
Both or?
Both.
No.
No,
Both single.
Zmanom.
Zvanom, yeah.
Their time.
Right.
The time is the singular.
Time is singular. Oh, but the there is plural. So if you wanted to show me that the Zman of the one who reads on the 14th is not the same as the one who reads on the 15th, say Zmanom. Zmanom would mean their plural time, each one on its own time, right? The two, the num, the omem there has got to be in Zman that belongs to them. Why do you need Zman Nehem? That's two plurals. Their times. You could have said their time. My Zmanehem, Shamat Minei Kulo. When it says Manehem, that teaches us all of them. Okay, Rashi. Okay. No, that's it. Okay, so that's the sugya. Let's very quickly review because we got to go a little further. He says, where is it hinted in the Torah? So Shem Barabba says the name of Rabbi Yochanan, because the pasuk says the kaimas yimei purim elu zmanehem, which means many zmanim was made for them. So the Gemara asks, but that we need to teach us that the mukafin and the krachim are two different times. He said, no. If you want to teach me that, it could have said zmanom. Why do you need zmanehem? From this we learn all of that. If that's the case, say, now the Gemara asks, next question. Now the Gemara asks, Ema Zmanim Tuva. Wait a minute. You said that Zmanehem means plural times, their times, right? Now, how do you know it's just 11, 12, and 13? If I told you you have many times, how many would be many times?
These two.
At least two. But the Mishnah is not saying two. How many is the Mishnah saying?
More. Three.
Three extra.
Three.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Why stop at three?
Okay, go. Yeah.
Keep going.
Mhm.
Tuva. That's the Gemara's kasha. Ema Zmanim Tuva.
We explained last week why those 3 days.
Why? Explain.
Because Beth and over Monday and Thursday, so we walked to these.
No, that's Rashi.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not the Gemara.
Oh.
Rashi's,
Okay.
telling us later. Okay, says Rashi over here, right? No Rashi. Rashi. Ema Zmanim Tuva, right?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, the Rashash, the Rashash comes and he has a classic kasha. So what do you mean, Zmanim Tuva, a lot of times? What do we say whenever you're trying to grab something? Tafasta meruba, lo tafasta. So you take a miyut. Yeah, but it's not really a miyut because you're still adding 3. It's not just 2. So the Gemara says further. So he says, Zmanehem, when you have Zmanehem, right? Dum yud zmanom. It's the same as manom. Times are going to be the same as the 2 times that already exist. Mazmanom, just like if it would have said zmanom, which means their time, right? There is plural. So does manehem, their times are equal to their time, right? Mazmanom trey, just like their time is 2, azmanehem trey. So zmanehem is 2. So the grammar goes back and forth, right? Okay. Ask the Gemara. The ema tleisar utleisar. So wait a minute. You're adding how many times are you adding on?
3.
No, 2.
Oh.
If you're based on it, if you say my name is Trey, Avzmanahem Trey. If you say each one is what? 2. So then you just add 2 days on. So if I took 14 and 15, what would I add on? 2 days.
Right.
Which 2? 12, 13. 12, 13.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the Gemara's kasha, right? Maz manam trei, avz manahem trei. Ve'ema treisar utleisar. So maybe the 2 days you should add on is 12 and 13, right? Why are you adding 11, 12, and 13? Right? Okay. Okay. Says Rashi on the top. Zmanehem dum yud zmanom. Top left. Ribuya the darshinan lekra liyaseira the yud vehei. The extra yud and the hey dum yud the ikar zman, similar to the main zman in zmanom. The nafkamam is manon. Who the kamarbet dum yud who. So we're adding on the extra yud and the hey. What it was originally 2 then, and now we're adding 2 more on. So maybe it means just 12 and 13. Answer the Gemara, no. Kid the Amar of Shmuel by Yitzchok, 4 lines before the wide lines. Kid the Amar of Shmuel by Yitzchok, because Shmuel by Yitzchok came along and he said, Yud Gimel. What's Yud Gimel? The 13th. Zman Kihila Lakolhi. It's the time of everybody getting together. Zman Kihila Lakolhi. It's a time when everyone gets together. What does that mean, right? One more line. I don't need a pasuk to add on the 13th, because the 13th, everybody gathers together anyway. Now the question is, why do they all gather together on the 13th? Rashi says, Hakol Zman Kihila Lakol. Now, it was a time of gathering together for all whom, says Rashi, right? Right? Lekol Hakol Nikalu, all the Jews gathered, Lihinoke me oyevehem, to take revenge against their enemies, Bein b'Shushan, Bein b'Sha'ar Makomos, not only in Shushan, but every place where there were Jews, they all gathered together on that date to fight against their enemies. Kemosha Kosov, b'Sefer, like it says in the Megillah, right? Just like it says in the Megillah, right? Hilkach, therefore, lo tzarich kra l'ribuye. Therefore, Rashi says, since everybody was gathering at that time, you didn't need a pasuk to teach the 13th. All Jews went to war on the 13th. Look, why do we celebrate Purim on the 14th? Why do we celebrate Purim on the 14th? Because the war was over and we rested on the 14th.
Right.
Why do the people in Shushan celebrate on the 15th?
They were still fighting?
Because they were still fighting when? On the 14th.
Oh.
Okay. So who was fighting on the 13th? Everybody.
Right.
The only ones that continued fighting on the 14th was the people in Shushan.
Right.
So Rashi is saying that's what it means. Hakol nikalulu me'oyevehem, bein b'Shushan, bein b'Sha'ar Makomos, k'moshe kosev b'Sefer. Hilkach, therefore, lo tzarich kra l'ribuyei. I don't need a pasuk to tell me that the 13th is a special day, right? She'ei royu likros, that it should be fit to read the Megillah. The Iker Hanes Bo Hoya, because the main nace was on that day. Okay, the main nace was on that day. Okay, so since the Iker Hanes was on that, that's interesting that the Rashi should say that the whole reason is because everybody gathered and fought on that day, right? So Zman Kihila Lakol, according to Rashi, doesn't refer to us. It refers to them at that time. Okay, that's Rashi. Now there's no Tosfos here.
Yeah, I know.
But the Rabbeinu Tam does make a comment. Where? In the Rush. And here it is. If you'll go to the back of the Mesechta, right? And you go to the first page of the Rush, okay?
Where is that?
I'll tell you in a second. It's on, where are we here? It's on,
Like a rabbi to tell me.
it's on,
This is what comes in.
it's on the first page of the Rush. Page Lamed Gimel, before the
Lamed
Masha.
Gimel?
Page Lamed Gimel, right after the Mesechta.
Oh.
On page Lamed Gimel, right? The Mesechta ends on Lamed Beis, and the Rush is on Lamed Gimel.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. You see the Rush on Lamed Gimel, right? Now in the Rush on Lamed Gimel, you go down in the right column.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to go down I would say about a little more than halfway down, you'll see a parentheses, and right next to it, it says Hashas. Okay, about halfway down the right column, it says Listar in parentheses, a little base next to it, and the word Hashas at the beginning of the line. You got it?
I can't find it.
Right below.
Go back more. Go right after Mesechta. The last after the Mesechta is Lamed Beis. This is Lamed
So
Gimel.
where are we?
It-
In beginning?
Yeah, and there's a parentheses that says Listar, and next to it says Haitian Samach. Hashas.
Right.
Hashas.
I have it.
You see?
Thank you.
Okay, good. Go to the end of that line. The end of that line where it says Hashas, it says Uperish Rabbeinu Tam. Okay, you got that? You got Uperish Rabbeinu Tam. You got that? Yeah, right? This is important. Okay, it says Uperish Rabbeinu Tam. Right? The Perish of the Rabbeinu Tam is this. So Rabbeinu Tam comes along when it says Man Kihila Kolhi, he says Uperish Rabbeinu Tam Zman Kihila Lakol He. What's that? Shahakol Misasvin the Tinus Esther. Wow. They all got together on the 13th to fast.
Tinus Esther.
Tinus Esther. Tinus Esther. Wait. Uboim b'nei akfarim la'ayoros, and the villagers would come into the cities. Lomar slichos b'tachanunim, because on a Tinus they said slichos and tachanunim. Lefi shebo nikalu la'amod al nafsham, because that was the day everybody was fighting. V'hayutzichem rachamim, and they needed mercy. Okay, so look. Moshe is fighting against Amalek, right? Right? What? What? Oh, yeah. V'chein matzinu b'Moshe she'asa tainus kishenilcham ba'Amalek. We see that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he fought against Amalek, they had a tainus. Who was fasting? Not the guys and the soldiers, everybody else. When he was fighting against Amalek in Parshas B'Shalach, right? When they were fighting Amalek in B'Shalach, yeah? At the end of B'Shalach, when Vayovo Amalek, and Moshe Rabbeinu sent Yoshua out, and Moshe, Aaron, and Hur was lifting up his hands, and whenever he lifted up his hands, they won.
Take some water in the space.
And that's why Aaron and Hur were holding up his hands. That's why Aaron and Hur were holding up his hands. So, what's the famous Gemorah in Rosh Hashanah on that? So, Gemorah in Rosh Hashanah says, wait a minute, when every time he held up his hands, they won. When every time he let them down, they lost. V'chi yodav shel Moshe osos milchama oshovros milchama. Ela lo malach kol zman shemistaklim klape ma'ala hayuni. Whenever they looked up to Hashem, they went. So now, Dixiv, Umoshe Aaron v'Chur Olu L'Rosh Agiva V'Darshinan B'Mesechta Tainis Mikan. From here we learn L'Tainis Tzibur Shetzarech Shlosha, that you need 3 people to declare a Tainis Tzibur: Moshe, Aaron, and Hur. Right? Mikan Nira Rabbeinu Tam, and from here it appears, according to Rabbeinu Tam, Sa'ad L'Tainis Esther Sha'onu Osim. Here is a support for our making a Tainis Esther, because in the Megillah you don't find that they fasted on the 13th of Adar. No. Does it say they fasted? Yes. When? Before she went into the king. When was that?
3 days.
11 months before in Chodesh Nisan. It was in Chodesh Nisan. It was right by Pesach. But it wasn't the 13th day in the month of Adar. Right? Kemosha asu b'mei Mordechai ve'Esther kishenik halu haYehudim la'amod al nafsham. And the Rabbeinu Tam adds a fascinating line. V'lo motzinu lo smach b'shum makom ela b'kan. Wow. He says there is no other source for Tinus Esther in all of Shas except for this line that Zman Kehila Lakoli. So this line, according to Rabbeinu Tam, is the very essence of where we know Tinus Esther from. Now, the only thing is this. Why don't we do Tinus Esther on the day that Esther fasted? In Nisan, good news, says the Rabbeinu Tam, says the Rosh, Umasha Onamagdinim Atinus. First, another question. Look, if Purim comes out on Sunday, when do we make the Tinus Esther? Thursday, right? He says, Umasha Onamagdinim Atinus Liyom Chamishi, Heicha Shechol Purim Lios B'Motzai Shabbos, right? V'lo avdinim le be'erev Shabbos. Why don't we make it erev Shabbos, right? Because nimtza b'shuvas ha'tkaonim, the Rosh says, you look in the shuvas ha'tkaonim, you'll find it. Lefi sheragilim b'tainis laharbos b'slichos v'taknunim. Because then, if they would do it on Friday, they'd be saying davening all day long. V'lo yitochen lasos came be'erev Shabbos. Lefi shelo yuchlu l'troach l'kavod Shabbos. Because they wouldn't be able to then go buy stuff for Shabbos. A few more lines. Open Mesechta Sofrim, he brings down Isa she Rabosenu she b'marav misanin ba'adar shlosha taniyos shel Esther. That there were some people out in the West that used to fast 3 days, like Esther fasted. Al pi she'osan hoyu b'Nisan. Even though they were in Nisan, but they wouldn't fast in Nisan 3 days. They would fast in Adar 3 days. Lo hoyu wrote some Lasanas in Nisan. Shenigalu b'arasenu hukam mishkan. So that's why we don't fast in Nisan. Okay, back. Wow, unbelievable, interesting. Difference.
Why it wasn't Esther who initiated that fast? It wasn't from Esther. It was do me a favor.
No, because she said, she was the one who said, Leich kenosas kol haYehudim v'tsumu alai shloshes yomim laila v'yom gam ani v'narosai otzum kain u'v'chein ovo el hamelech asher lo chados v'chasher.
We're fighting. They didn't fast because she said just go to
Right. That's why no, it has to do with the fact that she, right, with the story, right.
I don't understand.
Right. Okay. All right. Very interesting question. Okay. Now, 2 lines before the first wide lines. So now, yeah, I'm sorry. What do you say? Yeah. So, and they gave it the name. They gave it the name, right? It should be pointed out that Tinus Esther is not a sad fast. Right. It's not like the Inuyim that we do in the 3 weeks. You'll see even the Rosh, many point out that it's a somewhat of an ambiguous day. On the one hand, you're fasting. On the other hand, there's this anticipation for tremendous simcha. It's a day of very mixed feelings.
Yeah.
It's very mixed. A lot of the Gedolim used to speak about this. Let's go a little further. I want to finish a little more. Okay, so now 2 lines before the first wide lines. Hochanami. So here also Yud Gimel Zman Kil Kolhi V'lo Tzorech Livi Buyei. And you don't gotta have a special pasuk for Yud Gimel, because anyway, everybody would come together. So now, if you don't need a special day for Yud Gimel, how many extra days do you have?
No,
Only have 2, 11 and 12. Okay, so the Gemara asks, the Ema Shitzer v'Shivser. Maybe we should say 16 and 17. It's the Gemara, below Yavar. It says, no, below Yavar. You can't go beyond that time. Just a little bit more, okay? So this first explanation was according to Rav Shimon bar Abba in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, right? That was this, right?
Yeah.
This was this. Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani Amar Kra. Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani it says in a pasuk differently. It says Kayamim asher nachu b'hem haYehudim. Kayamim means what? Kayamim, like the days, like the days. Yamim, kayamim. Days means like the days that were set up by the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah. L'Rabos Yud Aleph Yud Beis, to include 11 and 12. Ve'ema Tresa U'Klesa. Why not 12 and 13? Answer the Gemara Pashut. Or Reb Shem by Yitzchok. Yud Gimel Makila Koli V'Lo Tzar Libu. Same answer. Ve'ema Shitzer V'Shitzer. Maybe 16 and 17. V'Lo Yavok. Okay, just to finish this discussion. Reb Shimon bar Nachmani, my time mi b'zmanehem. Why didn't Reb Shmuel bar Nachmani say the same reason as Reb Yochanan, which is from the term zman zmanehem? He has a pashut v'teretz. He says zman zmanom zmanehem lo mashmalei. He says don't give me this grammar. Zman zmanom zmanehem. It's the tzachtzuk haloshen. That's the right way to put it. That's the right way to say it. All right. Okay, that's the right way to say it. Rashi, very quickly. All right. Okay. Narrow lines on the left. Yomim kayomim leilminei. Right before that, it says Yud Daled v'Tezvav. Right. Yismechu uksiv kayomim asher nochu b'mayim. Then it says kayomim. We're going back. V'hava le'lemichtav yomim asher nochu demashma heim yomim asher nochu. My kayomim l'rabo shmayim acheros kid dugmos, and to add 2 days on. One more thing. Ask the Gemara. Second line down in the widest lines at the end of the line. V'Rav Shemen bar Abba my timer lo omar mikayomim. So why didn't Rav Shemen bar Abba in the name of Rabbi Yochanan say the same reasoning as Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani? Yeah. Why do they have different opinions? What I cannot learn from there. That was written for all generations. What's pshat for all generations? Says the Rashi, L'Doros Udiksiv, Lahachi Shayach Lishna Dikra Kayomim. I'll tell you why the Kayomim is applicable. Kilomar Yasu L'Doros Yudalav Tezvav. That all generations should make the 14th and 15th. Kasher Oya B'Meyanes Yomim Asher Nochu B'Hem, the days in which they rested. Hilkach Lo Ika L'Ribuye Me'ach Hashanim Acherem. Therefore, you can't add on any other times. Okay, so we're now up to an entirely new sugya in this Gemara. Now, the only thing is, because of Yom Tov, Rabbi say, we're not.
Is the next year going to be on Zoom?
It has to be.
Next year is going to be
5 weeks, October 25th.
in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Never.
How you Zoom?
Yeah, we'll be Zoom at 8
We
o'clock.
can make it on Thursday, can't we? Instead of Tuesday, make it.
No, Thursday, yes, Thursday night. The Thursday night class.
Oh, we already
No,
started.
you can't make it
Oh.
Thursday. Can't make it Thursday. I'm sorry. What are you saying, David?
Listen,
David, what's your kasha?
You're not saying
What's your
that.
kasha?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right, we don't have to hear it. But he comes on. And then I say, you mark.
What should it be? Lo Yavru? Lo Yavor means chok v'lo Yavor. It's a statute that's not to be gone over. No. Chok, no. Chok v'lo Yavor means that whatever you establish, can't go beyond this. No, yeah. Lo Yavru. No, Lo Yavru mitoch zichram. Lo Yavru mitoch zichram. It won't go away from their memory. That's the plural. Okay.
Talking about the Zichron, also the Shirab.
What does it say? Yeah, well, let me hear. What teretz? What? Let me hear. What's up there? Let me hear.
and why a shame?
Yeah.
Of the gehouden tijdens het.
Oh, that's a good question.
If they have, so then they what the mine after ze maakt het weer parking in de.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's another one. Okay, along the same lines, just curious. We're going to see later on, what Zmanehem means. Does it mean today or then? But what would happen if the Kfarim, let's say today, let's say today, Kfarim would get together and they would read it on the 11th or the 12th or 13th. Would they be Yotzei? Better yet, when the Kfarim came to read, when did they come to read? On the 11th and 12th. Let's say the 11th. When they came to read it on the 11th, right? Which was the Thursday before Sunday, right? Right, because Sunday was the 14th, and Shabbos was the 13th, and Friday was the 12th, and Thursday was the 11th. When they came to read on the 11th, when did they come? When? Wednesday night or Thursday morning? Wednesday night or Thursday morning? Yeah? What's the kasha? What's the kasha? Did they read it at night also of the 11th? Yeah?
The night don't belong to the 11th, does it?
No, yeah.
If
If it says. Did they also read it? Did they come in the night before? What?
They say, somebody told me in Budapest, the first cemetery was the Polish Sheep. Why? Because the Eden came to the market, but the Jew was not allowed to stay overnight in Budapest. It passed at that time, so but they allowed people who came from far to sleep over. The ones who came from the border, so who were there? Those were the Polish people. So they stayed overnight, and in the morning they made a menu. So that's how the first cemetery.
Okay. So now my question, kasha is the same. When they came in, when the firm came in, right? When the firm came in, did they come the night before? What did they do? They only read in the morning. They didn't read the night before, or did they come the night before?
In the morning, they had to be there early in the morning to do the march. So obviously, it was a 2-day march or a 3-day march, and they had to sleep.
Okay, we're talking in this man where the Ansek Nasakdola were Makilin al Akfarim to come on the market days. Did they come the night before? It was the takana that they should also read the night before. It doesn't say it anywhere.
That means that you were reading once, 21 once.
It's possible. It's possible that they only read it once. Possible.
I can't forget it. I never will.
Why is it possible that they came the night before? They wasn't read them again.
They didn't come at night because they who came at night? Nobody traveled at night over there. Nobody came. No. It's an interesting shiloh. It's brought up in the postscript. They asked the question, what they do. Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe next time we'll discuss it. Okay. All right, everybody say, have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Good night.